Hi everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. This is Kathy, and today I will be using the May the Mouse stamp set, the Brie stamp set, the coordinating dies for those two stamp sets, as well as the stacking hearts, honey cuts, all from Honeybee Stamps. Right out of the gate, I'm going to let you know that that heart that I'm stamping right now is not the heart that I ended up using for the card. It turned out to be just a tad bit too small when I was putting the card together, so I just cut a larger heart. I stamped the cheese using Memento peanut brittle ink and then just did some easy highlights on the cheese for the heart. I cannot say enough about this stamp set, you guys. When I got it, I was like completely overwhelmed with how many things I could make using this stamp set. So it was one of those, I started a project and in the middle of it, I was like, oh wait, I want to do this. So I stopped and started a second project. Then I started a third project. I'm currently on a fourth project. I love this stamp set so much because, and I didn't show it at the beginning and I probably should have, but I'll show that in my next video. The stamp comes with not only the cutest mouse ever, but a whole bunch of little stamps that go with it. And there's a little apron and a chef hat, and yeah, they're in a video coming soon. There's a pair of overalls, also in a video coming soon. There's candy, there's a letter, there's a strawberry and a cookie, and just a bazillion things that can be done. And let's talk about this mouse. How cute is this mouse? I don't even know what to say. She's so cute. Anyway, to the coloring. So I stamped her using Extreme Black Hybrid ink from My Favorite Things onto a piece of 80-pound Neenah Solar White cardstock. And the coloring that I did is pretty simple. I just used my warm grays. I started with W4 and worked my way down to W1. And one of the things that I have learned while using particularly the gray markers is the grays blend very, very nicely together. With that being said, it's also very easy to overblend, and that was something that I found that I was doing quite often. So I would overblend, and by the time I was actually done coloring, I would have no dimension left or shading left at all. So while I was working on this little mouse, I started with my darkest, which was the W4, and just kind of went in and added shading like around the sides of her face, under her chin, by her arms, by her legs, and then moved on to W3. And every time I really wanted to go back and blend some more, I wouldn't allow myself to do that because I have learned that I overblend. So anyway, that was just something that I've learned with the gray markers, and I find that if I don't let myself keep blending stuff out, then my shadows stay intact. And since there is so much coloring with this, I know I've said that I'm trying not to play music, but for this one I am going to have some music going while I finish up the mouse, and then I'll be back when I put the card together. Okay, so there are a bunch of sentiments in the Brie Mine stamp set, and I couldn't pass up the opportunity to use the cheesiest of all cheesy sentiments. So I decided that's where the whole cheese all over the heart came from, and then I thought it would be super cute to have a piece of cheese, um, to have the mouse holding a piece of cheese. Now I just stamped that on a scrap piece of paper and then colored it up with some yellowish markers. And then I ran the mouse and the cheese through my die cut machine. Now, here's something that I did not know. When I ran that little mouse through my die cut machine with coordinating dies, the die cuts around her little arms so that you can actually put all those little accessories behind them, and it looks like she's truly holding the little accessories, like the cheese in this example. So I was super excited about that. I thought that that was a fantastic thing that Honeybee did with this stamp and die set. So to create the card, I did stamp and for whatever reason it's not on film, I'm not sure, I guess I forgot to turn the camera on. I stamped the Not to Sound onto a piece of white cardstock and ran it through with a fishtail banner. And then I stamped the word cheesy onto the yellow cardstock using the Memento Peanut Brittle, and then used the coordinating die for that. And then I just used my YR24 marker just to add 3 little dots behind the word cheesy. Adhered that down onto the plaid paper, and then a plaid paper onto a piece of yellow paper, and then of course onto the top of onto a top folding white note card. It's a little early in the morning for me, so I'm a bit tongue-tied, but I was so excited to get this card finished and get this video up that I decided I wasn't going to wait until the afternoon when I was more awake. So I adhered the heart using just a regular tape runner. Here I'm kind of playing with the piece of cheese so that the mouse can hold the cheese, and adhered that down using a tape runner, and then I added a little bit of glue on the tail and the little whiskers, and then placed that on the front of the card. At this point I thought that I was pretty much done with the front of the card, but then I decided that I wanted to have a little bit more separation between the heart and the plaid paper. So I very carefully peeled off the heart and the mouse and grabbed a sponge and just inked the edges of the heart with the Memento Peanut Brittle ink. Once I was done inking the edge of the heart, I adhered that back down onto the front of the card, and then I stamped the inside of the card, and I did use my stamp platform to line up those sentiments. It makes it much easier to do so. And I used the Memento Peanut Brittle ink for the inside of the card as well. And that pretty much finishes up the card for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you would, and we will see you next time.